Hello, my name is Seymour Kazimirski. I host a show called Seymour's World on ThinkTech Hawaii. It's all about facilitating conversations and opening minds. We are very lucky today. I have been promising you a show on black rice, which comes from Thailand. A very good friend of mine, Dan Foxman, is the originator of a black rice product that is going to be coming to the U.S. market, the Asian market, and the European market very, very soon. And I wanted to introduce the product to you because, as we all know, there are several different types of antioxidants. There are several different types of nutritional products that are out there. What is real? What testing has been done to make sure that what they tell you it's going to do is going to happen? Well, with Dan Foxman, I can only tell you that he is a very, very responsible businessman who has made it his life to make sure that nutritional products do what they are supposed to do. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Dan. Good morning, Dan. It is 5:30 in the morning there. How are you?
Actually, it's 6:05, but I'm doing great, Seymour. Thank you. It's a pleasure to speak to you and to all my friends at Hawaii. I love you, Hawaii. I lived there for 32 years, and I have just a great feeling of aloha for my Hawaii.
Well, it's wonderful. And I didn't know you in Hawaii. I've only known you for 10 years as a client, as a friend. But I'd like you to tell us a little bit about how you got to Thailand, to Chiang Mai, and where your education is from, etc.
Well, yeah, it's a little surprising because there's not a great direct connect between my education and what I'm doing now. So I'm self-educated in my present business field. But I actually came to Hawaii in 1970 to attend graduate school at the University of Hawaii in Manoa, which I did. I got my master's degree and almost finished my PhD, just a few French fries short of a Happy Meal. And went on screaming and yelling and kicking my feet into the business world when the state of Hawaii ran out of money to fund graduate students. So that's how I came to Hawaii. I had a freeze-dry company in Hawaii, and I also had a 25-acre tropical fruit farm on the Hamakua coast of the Big Island. And so I have a real background both in natural agriculture. It was completely organic. It was an organic farm, and also in the technique of freeze drying.
Well, we may have lost you a little bit in video, but there you're back to us. What made you move to Thailand?
Actually, I came here to retire, or at least semi-retire, but I completely failed at retirement. After 6 months, I was just climbing the walls, and I decided I wanted to use my knowledge and do something positive here. So I actually came here to semi-retire and failed at retirement.
And once you got to retire, because I know you didn't retire, once you got to so-called retire in Thailand, you went into the freeze-drying business. I remember that. You were freeze-drying flowers at some point, and then you were freeze-drying herbs. Tell us about it.
Yes, in Hawaii, I was freeze-drying flowers, mostly for the Japanese wedding industry. So when I came to Thailand, after about 6 months of retirement, which drove me off the wall, I looked around and I saw that they were processing the herbs and the botanicals that grow here in ways that were very harmful to their to the delivery of their vital ingredients. They were using microwave drying, which is just, horrible. The way a microwave works, by the way, and I say, how does a microwave work? Well, you turn on it. You turn it on or you press the button. It sends an electrical current through the item, and the water molecules, and the molecules are about 80% water. We're 80% water. The molecules want to line up with the electrical current, and in trying to line up, they crash into one another, and that molecular friction is what creates the heat. The internal heat from the microwave. So not only is the heat destructive, but it really terrorizes the internal structure of the product. So they were microwave drying here. They were spray drying. Spray drying uses up to 250 to 400 degrees temperatures, and the heat was damaging the enzymes and the thermosensitive vitamins in the products. And so I looked around and said, yeah, wow, they're just not doing it, as well as they could here. I want to use my freeze dry knowledge to dry these herbs, to preserve them correctly, and so I decided to do it. I had 4 machines sent over from the United States, and in 2004 I started Thai Freeze Dry Company.
And when you started Thai Freeze Dry, you brought products to the marketplace I've seen here in the U.S., like mangosteen. There are several products that you made before we start talking about black rice. Tell us about some of the herbs that you've worked on.
Yeah, when I came here, because of my background in natural agriculture, I had an interest in what they were growing here, and I found they were growing really just incredibly valuable herbs in terms of value for your health. And a lot of these were adaptogens, which is a very interesting classification of herbs upon which I later wrote a book. Adaptogens are bidirectional. If your energy is high, if you're hyperactive, it will lower your energy. If you're lethargic, it will increase your energy. If your blood sugar level is high, it will lower it. If your blood sugar is low, it will raise it. They bring you into normal parameters. And science absolutely knows that it does that, because these are things that you can test. You can test your blood sugar level, you can test your cholesterol level. So it's clear that these things are able to bring you either up or down to get you into normal parameters. But how it does that is very unclear to science. What kind of intelligence is involved in determining what's out of balance for you, and then whether you need to bring that up or down to get yourself into balance. So that was a very interesting subject for me. I wrote a book on it, and I worked with 3 or 4 herbs here that are very powerful adaptogens. They balance your entire body, and those were jiaogulan, which probably none of your audience has ever heard of, but in China, jiaogulan is known as the Herb of Immortality. Amalaki, or amala, which is an Ayurvedic herb, which is noted to extend your life, and it's an anti-aging, and it's a detox. And noni, which I think probably people in Hawaii may have heard of because of the popularity of the noni drink some years back, and I think it's still popular today. And I concentrated on those herbs which were in the category of adaptogens, which balance your whole physiology.
I have to tell you, Dan, our audience is extremely interested in black rice, and I know we're going to get to it, and yes. I want you to know that I've had hundreds of emails since I introduced black rice to our audience, saying that you're coming on and you're coming on. It's been a couple of months because you had an accident and you weren't able to come on the show. I still get emails almost daily. When are you going to do this story on black rice? Where do we get black rice? When you started looking at black rice, before you had it, you had a freeze drying process that was so unique in keeping the intensity of whatever you were making inside the product. Explain to people what freeze drying is all about in just a couple of minutes, if you can.
Okay, I'll try and make it freeze drying 101. Here we go. You want to dry the product. The reason you want to dry the product is to eliminate the water. The enzymes, which naturally degrade these products, they're naturally designed by nature to degrade. Okay, fruits are basically food for the seed to start to grow, and the seed doesn't have a digestive system, but the fruits have in them the enzymes for their own digestion, and so these things are going to degrade naturally. One of the ways you can stop this degradation from taking place is by using chemical preservatives, and that will stop the process. The other way is to simply eliminate the water. If you eliminate all the water and there's no water activity, the enzymes in the microorganisms that would degrade the product can't function. So the product is preserved by eliminating all the water by drying it. Problem: if you eliminate the water using heat, you do accomplish drying the product, but in the process, you destroy all of the thermosensitive vitamins like vitamin C, beta carotene, and many other vitamins are sensitive to heat. You destroy the enzymes almost completely. We don't say we destroy the enzymes, we say we denature the enzymes. We make them dysfunctional by changing the shape of the enzyme by applying heat to it. And so heat is very destructive. So the question then becomes, how do you dry the product without exposing it to heat? And the answer is to freeze dry it. Very quickly, freeze drying uses a process called sublimation. And what happens is that water, which is in three forms, water is liquid form, ice is solid form, and vapor is the gas form. Water vapor is a gas form of water. And water in vapor form will always move towards a colder temperature. This is just a natural principle, like gravity. So we're using a natural principle here when we freeze dry. We put the product in one chamber and we freeze it in a vacuum. And there's a second chamber connected to that chamber, which is maybe 50 or 60 degrees colder. In Fahrenheit, maybe 80 degrees colder than the product chamber. And so all the water vapor in the product chamber, including the water that's in the product, gradually moves by sublimation into the colder chamber, and the product dries while it was frozen. And in this way, you don't get any oxidation of the valuable ingredients that we're trying to preserve.
So in essence, the freeze-drying product, or whatever product you freeze-dry, retains all of the necessary vitamins, etc., in it, rather than disappearing by cooking it, microwaving it, by doing all that stuff. Is that a simple way of describing freeze-drying to our audience?
That's perfect, Seymour.
Well, you see, you taught me well. You taught me well, Dan. Dan, we need to take a short break, and then we're going to come back and tell our audience about black rice.
Okay.
All right. Just give me a minute. My name is Seymour Kazimirski. We are at Seymour's World at ThinkTech Hawaii.
I'm Hong Jiang, host for Asia in Review on Tuesdays.
And I'm David Day, host for Asian Review on Thursdays. Both of us broadcast our respective shows at 4 p.m.
And my topics tend to deal with questions related to environment, culture, history, and sometimes human rights.
And my shows tend to be on international business, foreign policy, geopolitics, and national security. And you can watch our shows live on the ThinkTech website at thinktechhawaii.com.
And you can also watch us on YouTube or Olalo.
So come join us on Thursdays at 4 p.m. I'm David Day.
And on Tuesdays at 4 p.m., I'm Hong Jiang.
Aloha.
Aloha.
I'm Jay Fidel. That's Sharon Moriwaki of the Hawaii Energy Policy Forum. And every Wednesday we have Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy. We've been doing it for some time now, and we have some fantastic guests on there, unbelievable guests who give us insight into what is going on in a very complex, sometimes very confusing, sometimes very disappointing area of progress in the state. So we love doing this. We love meeting them. We love talking to them. We love having their ideas out on the table. So maybe, just maybe, we can all make some sense of what's going on. Sharon, what do you think?
I think that's absolutely correct. We enjoy ourselves meeting with all these people and hearing about the energy and the state of clean energy, and hopefully we advance clean energy for the state. So it's terrific. Join us.
Okay, it's every Wednesday. Okay, Wednesday is Energy Day. Every Wednesday, 4 to 5 p.m. Hawaii, the State of Clean Energy, here on ThinkTech Hawaii.
Energy Wednesday.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel. This is ThinkTech Hawaii, broadcasting live from the Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu. We raise public awareness about tech, energy, and globalism in Hawaii. Technology is critical to our state. A vibrant tech sector will give us new prospects in the global marketplace and will offer great careers and make our economy more resilient. Streaming live on Ustream and Spreaker, ThinkTech allows its hosts and guests invaluable opportunities to report important events and discuss important questions, and to be heard here in Hawaii and around the world. You can find links to our live streams on thinktechhawaii.com or on our mobile website, m.thinktechhawaii.com. And you can see our archive on YouTube. It's all just a click away. We want to do whatever we can to keep Hawaii relevant, connected, and thriving in the complexity of the 21st century.
Aloha, I'm Nicole Horry for ThinkTech. For nearly half a century, the Hawaii Foreign Trade Zone No. 9 has brought the benefits of the Foreign Trade Zone program to Hawaii businesses and entrepreneurs. DBET, the Department of Business, Economic Development, and Tourism, operates Hawaii's Foreign Trade Zone program to encourage international business and economic development. The Foreign Trade Zone's mission is to increase the amount of international trading activity in Hawaii, thereby providing employment opportunities for the residents of our island state. For more information, see ftz9.org. I'm Nicole Horry. Mahalo.
Welcome back to Seymour's World. My name is Seymour Kazimirski. We're at ThinkTech Hawaii. Today we have a very special guest all the way from Chiang Mai in Thailand. Dan Foxman is the owner of Thai Freeze Dried. And we are so happy to have him here because so many of you have requested more information on black rice. So Dan, let's start with what is black rice?
Hello, Seymour. Hello, everybody in Hawaii. Black rice is a very interesting variety of rice. It doesn't grow in wetland paddies like white rice and brown rice. It grows. It's a dryland rice. It grows up in the mountains. It is a deep purple or almost black color, and in those dark flavonoid pigments that make that dark color, like in blueberries and like in other antioxidant-rich foods, in those pigments you have anthocyan and antioxidants, and they're there to protect the plant. Okay, but when we eat these kinds of foods, we're able to get the antioxidants and the other vitamins and minerals that are in the rice. And so it's unique because of the deep purple color, which has those strong antioxidants in the pigments. Like I said, same as blueberries, for example. People are familiar with that. It's a very rare variety of rice. In ancient China, it was reserved only for the royal family and the royal court. And it was reputed to extend their lives. And in fact, modern science has pretty much verified that antioxidants and the other vitamins, minerals, etc., in black rice do, in fact, extend your life and give you more vitality. So it's a very special and a rare variety of rice.
So Dan, now that we know that black rice is going to be a wonderful addition to somebody's diet, how do we get it onto the marketplace? How do people, people have gone to Whole Foods. I know you're selling to Whole Foods right now, and they want to buy it in many other places besides Whole Foods because their Whole Foods is not around that much. How are you going to get it out to the market from Chiang Mai?
Well, that's what we're working on, Seymour. What they say, the marketers say that 85% of the effort is in marketing. As a producer, I believe that, creating the quality product is really the key, but then marketing becomes a huge issue. And so we do have our product in Whole Foods. Our product is on the e-commerce sites of Whole Foods, the Vitamin Shop, and also iHerbs. All of those are, have very large e-commerce sites, and you can get black rice via those websites, as well as the shelves of the Whole Foods if they happen to have it in your area. So
you're selling it in a powder form right now. It's not a pill. It's not a capsule. It's in powder form. Tell people how to use it.
It's absolutely wonderful if you can just put it in yogurt and just mix it into the yogurt, sprinkle it on your cereal, use it to make a smoothie or a shake. Those are really easy ways to use it. We also have people that bake with it. You can bake with the black rice powder. We have people that take the black rice powder, add a little flavoring like wasabi, and then use it as sort of like a flour, and to cook your fish in. It can be used in so many ways. Black rice has very low acidity, and it mixes well and goes well with everything. It has a very pleasant taste, almost a malt-like flavor, whereas many of my herbs, which are very healthy, are either bitter and don't taste very well. Black rice is quite tasty, and most people really enjoy it. So you can use it in many different and creative ways. We're going to have to put together a cookbook, a black rice cookbook. I'll let you know when we've got it.
Dan, we also talked about what does black rice do for you. As you know, acai has been for the last 10 years, I think, has been the best product that you can mix in for healthy living. But it's gone down quite a bit in people's minds for various reasons, and I'm not here to push or to deny what acai has done. What does black rice do for you? What clinically has been proven black rice does for me and you?
Okay, what we're trying to do here at Thai Freeze Dry basically is revive our relationship with nature's complete foods, and black rice is really, like I say, acai, a complete food. It's a superfood. It has all the amino acids that meat has. It has an excellent profile of amino acids, vitamins, minerals. It's rich in vitamin E. It's rich in vitamin K. It's just an amazingly nutritious a product. But one of the most important areas where we're going to be pushing the marketing of the black rice is in terms of weight management. When you eat a small quantity of black rice, it satiates you. You're not hungry for. You can skip a meal. So we want to use it as an ingredient for meal replacement bars, for dietary shakes, and we're in the process of making formulations that actually, do that. It's a matter of delivery. But there are a couple of aspects that make this especially efficient for weight management. Number one, it has a compound in it called C3G. And C3G actually changes the gene expression for fat metabolism from storage to usage. So instead of storing your fats, you start to use your fats. And that's one of the mechanisms that helps you be satiated by black rice. The other major mechanism which we know about is that black rice has actually 7 different varieties of antioxidants, not one. It's very rich in antioxidants. But these antioxidants are localized in the kernel of the rice. And the localization patterns of these antioxidants, as it travels through your digestive system, it doesn't digest at the same time and in the same place. It's almost like taking a time-released capsule. So it takes a long time for the recognition and the digestion of the antioxidants and the food value in the black rice. It moves slowly through your digestive system. And so we know that it really satiates you. And that's so much better than taking dietary products that, let's say, make you lose water. That's a diuretic, a weight loss product, and you do lose water and you do lose weight, but almost as soon as you stop taking that product, you gain back the water. There are other products on the market for losing weight that speed up your metabolism, and you do lose weight. Okay, but your body isn't designed to operate at that high level of metabolism all the time, and so it puts a strain on your liver and it puts a strain on your kidneys. So there are many effective ways to lose weight, many of which are really not very healthy, although they're very popular. Black rice actually satiates you, so you don't feel hungry, you don't feel like eating. It's a very, very safe way and an efficient way to put some weight management into your life.
I think, Dan, you've described it extremely well, and our audience is looking forward to trying it and to making it part of their natural diet. You've had, I understand, conversations with Dr. Oz as well, and he is, of course, the so-called guru, although lately he's had a few items that, shall we say, have given a negative position on him, but he really likes black rice, doesn't he?
Yes, he really does. He understands the benefits. He understands how rich it is in terms of food value, the nutrient value. He understands the weight loss factor. He's a very, very smart guy and well-versed in his field. The interesting thing about black rice, and you really can't say this about hardly any food, this is almost a strange thing to say, is that you can't get the benefits of black rice by eating black rice. And that's such a strange thing to say. The reason is that in order to send black rice to America, for example, before they allow it to get on the ship, they require you, this is called cargo rice, the rice that's going to be exported. We're required to remove almost all of the kernel and remove the rice germ and just remove all the parts that are really healthy, leaving mostly starch. And so the product is already, I would guess you could say, almost ruined by the time it gets on the boat. And so it arrives there, and you're eating a form of the product that isn't very valuable compared to in its natural state. And they do that because if you mill the rice and then you put it on a ship for 30 days or 60 days, it will start to degrade. Okay, and so to prevent that and anyone getting sick from it, they eliminate everything that's bad, and at the same time they eliminate everything that's good. So you get, it's very hard outside of Thailand or Southeast Asia even to find black rice that hasn't been adulterated already. Because we're shipping it in the dry powder form without any water content, it's stable and it won't degrade in shipment. So we include everything. Our whole rice product is brand complete. It's a whole food, and it has everything there that nature intended. So it hasn't been milled to remove the husk or the rice germ. Everything is there. So we're able to deliver a product that actually delivers the benefits of black rice, which you wouldn't get by eating black rice.
Excellent. It's such it's amazing, and it's not just from me, Dan, but from the people that I've spoken to in China who take it regularly, and they just feel that it is such a great addition to their diet. We're going to talk in the next segment a little bit about the pictures that we have of your operation, as well as talk about how we can help the needy, how we can help those poor countries by using black rice as a meal replacement bar. So Dan, give me a minute, please, and we will be back to Chiang Mai in Thailand. My name is Seymour Kazimirski. We're at Seymour's World at ThinkTech Hawaii.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rafi. Every week, I'm right here at ThinkTech Hawaii, 3 p.m. on Mondays. My show is Boris' Bio Briefings. What do we do here? Well, we watch sperm swim. We see if they catch anybody. We check out the latest biosimilars, you know, the kind that, what was his name, the guy with the bicycle? I guess we forgot his name, but he was taking EPO and other human growth factors. We're talking about human growth factors. You want to know where to get some? Maybe I'll tell. Anyway, you can catch me, as I said, every week right here, Monday, 3 p.m., ThinkTech Hawaii, Dr. Rafi. You can also find me on Twitter, BioInfoMedical. Or you can catch me on Facebook, Dr. Rafael Boritzer. I'll be happy to converse with you. Aloha.
Welcome back to Seymour's World. My name is Seymour Kazimirski. Our guest today is Dan Foxman, president of Thai Freeze Dried in Chiang Mai, Thailand. Dan is on Skype with us at 6 a.m., well, closer to 6:30 a.m. now in Thailand. And I can tell you, Dan, that everybody here is extremely excited about seeing this product finally, because we've been talking about it for so long. And for everybody, in full disclosure, I am working with Dan Foxman and with Mark Velci, and I'm trying to help them get the product to the market. And as far as I can see, I have not heard a negative comment from anybody, and that includes going into the Whole Food stores in California, in Hawaii, talking to them about what are the reactions to black rice. And every single one of them has said that it is an amazing product. People keep coming back to buy it again and again. So Dan, I'm going to put some pictures up, and then I'll tell you what they are because you can't see them on Skype, and then we'll be able to talk about them. So here's the first one. The first one is your machines. There's you in front of the two machines. I think they're freeze drying machines.
Yes, okay. Yeah, our freeze drying machines are rather large and high capacity. And as we spoke before, we actually developed this new process, which we call dynamic freeze drying, where the product isn't simply sitting on shelves motionless inside the freeze dry machine, but the product flies around in a vortex. And what that does, it increases the exposed surface area tremendously, maybe 20, 25 times. That increases the rate of heat exchange, and it dries faster and it dries better and with a particle structure that's easier for our body to absorb. Remember, Seymour, the value and function of our foods may not be reflected in the laboratory test. You can have a laboratory test, and they're important, but you can have a laboratory test that says this item is super high in vitamin C, okay? And so you take the item and, your pea turns bright yellow and it just goes in one end and out the other. The value and function of our food is in how it breaks down inside your body. It's the energetic breakdown of the product and how it's absorbed and metabolized by your body. And we create a particle structure in our machine that is more bioavailable. It's easier for your body to digest and get the full value of the product. So these machines are at the key of our process, and it's our process which helps make the product exceptional.
I just want to clarify one thing, Dan, for our audience. And of course, you're very scientific with all of your equipment and everything. But what we're really trying to get across here is that you found a way of taking black rice in its entirety and holding all of the antioxidants and nutritional value in the black rice, freeze drying it, and then being able to deliver it to the consumer, to the customer, with its absolutely 100% efficiency. Is that correct?
That's correct, Seymour. Really quickly here, freeze drying was actually became popular near the end of World War II when they developed machines to freeze dry plasma, blood, to deliver it efficiently to the front lines. So if you can imagine, they can freeze dry your blood, deliver it to the front lines, add saline or add water, put it in your body, and it functions just the same way that your blood would normally function. Freeze drying removes only water, water only. Everything else, everything, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, all remain intact.
I think that's a very good way to explain that, Dan, because everybody knows that during the war, that's exactly what they did. The blood was frozen and then it was pumped back into you. And the only way to do that, to make sure, is it's exactly the pure blood that it was when it was frozen. That's absolutely true. Dan, tell us a little bit about the growing of black rice. I think we have a photo that we may be able to show there. So we have the photo of the picture, actually, of the black rice in the ground. Tell us about it.
Yeah, this is a cooperative of 52 different farms, and it's totally organic. Growing normal rice in rice paddies with water, year after year after year in the same location, what happens, the same thing that happens anywhere, is the ground becomes depleted after many, many, many years of growing rice in the paddies. And a lot of the rice is grown basically with water and chemicals because the ground is depleted so badly, having grown the same crop in the same location over and over again. This is mountain rice. They don't do that. It's moved from place to place, and it's totally organically grown. And this is very important to us because we don't want to be concentrating and preserving, chemicals and delivering it to our customers. So this farm that you're looking at, and I think there's several pictures there. There's a close-up. There's a further thing. There's a further shot where it shows you the fields. This is all totally organic. It's organically certified, and we go there and we inspect to make sure that they're following good agricultural practices, and they're very dedicated to that. And so this is organically grown dry land mountain rice.
We're going to show a couple of those pictures, Dan, that shows the farmers and shows the hills. I think there's the farmers, and the next one, I think, is the hills. So you'll notice, everybody, that this is not grown the way normal rice is grown that we see here in Hawaii and in some other areas. This is actually grown on hilltops or on the sides of hills. Correct, Dan?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, good. Now, Dan, we have to take another short break, but I do want to emphasize one thing, that Thai Freeze Dried as a company not only grows black rice, you have other products as well, and you're exploring other avenues of trying to get products to the marketplace that are, shall we say, 100% efficient to the body. What is it about our culture that allows products to come to the marketplace that advertise weight loss and advertise it's the best thing since sliced bread and it's anti-aging, and how can we make sure that what you're telling us is for real, that it's better than what we've heard from some other products?
Yeah, it's very confusing. I mean, the marketing, especially in America, is just absolutely excellent. The marketing is top quality, and you know, it's easy to be convinced that something is excellent when, you know, maybe it's not. You know, what I tell people is, don't listen to me, don't listen to anybody. Listen to yourself. You know, we suggest people try the product and see what it does for them. You know, if it doesn't help you, if you, after, let's say, a month of using it, you know, stop. Don't use it. Trust yourself, believe in yourself, and take control of your own health destiny. There's so much lack of knowledge out there. I mean, you know, you can become a doctor in America and go to school for 8 years without taking a course in nutrition. It's the lack of understanding is just huge, and the processed foods that we eat because it's more efficient to produce it, etc. A lot of that stuff is, you know, you can take a very good product and make it into a very bad product by using the wrong process. So, you know, my suggestion there is just, you know, don't, you know, try the product and determine for yourself whether it's helping you or it's not helping you.
But I do want to, in the next segment, Dan, I do want to talk about regulations, because that is something that we are getting a little tougher with in the U.S. And I want to know about what regulations you have that that Thailand has that make sure that it conforms to some of the import and export regulations here in the U.S. So we're going to take a short break. This is Seymour's World. My name is Seymour Kazimirski. Our guest today is Dan Foxman from Chiang Mai, Thailand, talking about superfood, and that is black rice.
Aloha, I'm Jay Fidel. This is ThinkTech Hawaii, broadcasting live from the Pioneer Plaza in downtown Honolulu. We raise public awareness about tech, energy, and globalism in Hawaii. Technology is critical to our state. A vibrant tech sector will give us new prospects in the global marketplace and will offer great careers and make our economy more resilient. Streaming live on Ustream and Spreaker, ThinkTech allows its hosts and guests invaluable opportunities to report important events and discuss important questions, and to be heard here in Hawaii and around the world. You can find links to our live streams on thinktechhawaii.com or on our mobile website, m.thinktechhawaii.com. And you can see our archive on YouTube. It's all just a click away. We want to do whatever we can to keep Hawaii relevant, connected, and thriving in the complexity of the 21st century. We hope you will help us in those efforts. Tune in today. This is ThinkTech. I'm Jay Fidel. Mahalo.
With our farmers by paying higher than fair trade prices, and just helping them by giving them deposits in advance and in so many other ways. So it's very important for us to help our partners, our growers who are so often get the short end of the stick here in agriculture, and so we're very fair with our suppliers, our farmers. We would also envision, especially in the case of black rice, eventually having a famine and disaster relief division of the company, where we can provide people with a highly nutritious source of food, easily deliverable. We can put it in bars and things so that you don't have to have availability of fresh, clean water and other problems that they might have, and help people in general, Seymour. And I know that's very important to you. You are famous at doing that.
Well, I don't know if I'm famous at doing it, but it's something that I've made a commitment to in the last couple of years, and I intend to do so wherever we can help people. And what led me to help you, Dan, and to work with you is because the ulterior motive here is not about cash. You and I both have done very well in our lives, and it's not that big of a deal. You have your devotion to food and nutrition matches my devotion to helping people, and that's why it's a good match. It's a hand and a glove. I feel that if we can provide some type of meal replacement to the poorer nations, we are going to do something to help this world. And no matter how much money we make, that is truly something to do. I think it's important. Let's get back to food regulation. I'm a big believer that FDA has to do a better job of regulating what's said in newspapers, television, internet, etc. You never know. I mean, all of a sudden you can find a product on the marketplace that says you're going to lose 7 pounds next week just by drinking this. I mean, nobody has any proof of that. Tell us a little bit about what you have done to make sure that you are conforming to whatever FDAs there are in Thailand.
Yes, we have to go way beyond what's required. FDA basically is concerned about the product. Well, two things. They're concerned about the product not harming you. They really don't talk much about the efficacy of the product. But if it's not harmful, if it's not going to kill you or damage you seriously, it'll pass FDA. So we have to go way beyond that and know that we're delivering a healthy product. We have FDA for our factory and for all of our products. Our factory is GMP, Good Manufacturing Practices certified. We have all kinds of certifications. We have an internal testing program as part of our hazard control program where we test things on a regular basis to make sure there's no contamination. But passing these tests and getting these certifications doesn't mean you have a product that actually helps you. Probably it means you have a product that doesn't hurt you if you're lucky. And that's as far as those kinds of regulations tend to go. So we go way beyond that. As you said, our goal is to help people and not merely not to hurt people. So we go the extra mile, and we haven't gotten to do technical clinical tests yet. It's a very expensive, time-consuming process, but we are working with the Chiang Mai University Faculty of Medicine and doing tests, and we're working with all kinds of people to increase the value of the products that we give you and make sure that they're actually beneficial.
You also have to realize, this is for our audience because you didn't mention it, Dan, but Whole Foods has a very, very strict regulation process before they will put any items on their shelf. And it took a long time before Whole Foods said, yes, we want to put your black rice on the shelf. That means that they have done exhaustive testing on it. I have found that in our market survey, Whole Foods is by far, I mean, there's nobody else in the supermarket world that does as much testing as they do before a product goes on the shelf.
Yeah, it's very important to them to protect their reputation and
Right.
their good name, and so they do a good, they do a good job of it. And when, for example, our last shipment to the United States was a 20-foot container with 10 tons of black rice going in, and the American FDA, they didn't accept any of our tests, they didn't accept any of our documents. They went into the container, they took their own random samples, did their own tests, and of course everything passed. So I think of course, as I said before, they were only concerned that it wasn't harmful, but there is a great deal of concern to protect consumers, and I think the FDA is very helpful, and organizations like Whole Foods that need to protect their reputation they're doing quite a good job. So being there in itself is quite a testimony for a small company like us.
I think I'm very proud to be associated with you, Dan, because I like the idea of seeing small companies grow and be able to take on the giants of the world and be able to establish themselves in a market that's very, very difficult. And the food business itself is difficult. The supermarket business is even more difficult because you need shelf space in the supermarket. And more important than that is you have a product that the customer wants. They want to find something that they can put in their food that's healthy. And you have proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that black rice is that kind of a food. And it's something that people can use. And I'm just very proud to be associated with you. I want to thank you so much for getting up so early and being with me this morning. I told our audience last week that you were in the hospital and that you look fine to me now. And just to let everybody know, Dan is 106 years old, and look at the way he looks because he's eating black rice. I'm just kidding. Dan, thank you very much. We loved having you today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, my pleasure. Aloha nui loa to all my friends in Hawaii, and thank you so much for this opportunity, Seymour. You're just the greatest.
Oh, it's my pleasure. To our audience, thank you for joining us today. Next week, we have a wonderful show, and it's going to be Dr. Ako. Dr. Ako is in veterinary medicine here in Hawaii, and he is very involved in several different ideas that we're going to talk about next week. So next week with Dr. Ako, thank you again to our Dan Foxman in Chiang Mai, Thailand, and I wish you all aloha.